Free agency compensation. Do you think there needs to be a little bit of an overhaul? So James Worpel, Hawthorn got pick 39 for James Worpel, which will likely balloon out into the 40s, maybe even the 50s. Yep. And then the Eagles are likely to net pick 2 for Oscar Allan. So do you think there's some
It's fucking corruption, honestly.
Passion?
It's just shove it up your ass, honestly. Like, what's the point? Like, why getting picked 2? Why getting picked 2 for Oscar Allan?
Because of the bandwidth where he's getting paid over the...
Yeah, I know, but it's similar to... And I understand there would be a genuine understanding of this, but it reminds me back to the time of when Buddy went to...
Pick 19.
Yeah, went to the Swans, got pick 19. You can't tell me he was getting paid $250,000.
But that's where...
And then James Frawley, who we absolutely love,
their club was, so it comes after your pick.
Right, so, okay.
Brett, can you explain it, how it works?
Brett.
And again, Brett's doing a great job of explaining it, but Dylan just keeps jumping in.
He wants to go. No, you
Brett,
go, mate.
to be honest, it actually makes a lot more sense now you explain it. So it comes after their pick. Okay, that makes sense.
But hand it back into Brett just to explain a little bit in more detail.
The intricacies with the West Coast one is because Starcevic is coming from the Lions as well, and so they've got 2 players going that way, but they don't want them to sort of cross over. They want it to be separate. So that's why it's like Oscar Allan. No, we want to push up his price and the years that he's going to make sure that it gets into band 1, which then brings that down to pick 2 after their first one.
So Brett, you're actually better. Sorry. This is a good point because you're better off if you are a team that's getting a high pick in the draft, like West Coast or North Melbourne or Richmond.
We don't have that pick this
year. No, they
No. So Brady's doing a great job with that. He's Jade.
Someone said this yesterday.
Is it Jade or Brady? I actually don't know.
Are you aware though that with that, like that situation,
yeah,
we actually didn't hand the pick.
No, but you basically did.
No, we got something. Got a physical player.
Who?
They got a Whitlock.
Matt Whitlock.
Yeah.
From Shepparton. He'll be a very good player.
Yeah. Well, I'd fucking hope so. But what I'm saying back to that point is if you've got a high pick, because your compensation, if you get rid of one of those players that are quite big like Oscar Allan, you actually get such a big compensation. You're better off getting rid of those players if you're not in the window.
Josh
to
Battle
compete.
from the Saints last year is an example of that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Window.
If you're not in the window. So if you're one of those younger teams, say for example, the Oscar Allan is a perfect example. Like they're not going to win the flag probably in the next 3 years. That's his sort of prime where he'll be. So get rid of him now. Get a great compensation back. Go to the draft. You've got pick 1 and 2.
Yeah. Well, that's making the club bigger than the player, but which is what people want, I think. Whereas at the moment, the player, and everyone's blaming the player managers, they've got all the control. But if a player doesn't want to stay there, and I was listening to our mate Moons talk about it today, about Zach Merritt, right?
Yes.
It's Moons on breakfast.
Moons on breakfast with the pipe.
It's always interesting this time of year with the radio stations.
Who's taking the
who's taking the seats?
Brooksy listens to this show, so he'll love this feedback.
It's like, it's more the... They go to the depth chart.
Brooksy. Wow. Hey, Brooksy, I reckon you're doing a great job. You're all doing a great job.
Brooksy doing a great job. He's like... He's just playing with what he's got.
Well, he's like you at North at the moment. He's just coaching what he can.
Anyway, before you interjected there,
sorry,
I was honest.
You're on a heater.
Yeah, I wasn't. But he said, if you've given 10 years to your club, and I was in this position as well, where you're not seeing that growth, and everyone will be like, oh yeah, but if you had just stuck around, I get that. No, but Zach Merritt, he's ready for something new, and I don't think he can give any more than what's he been there 12 years, and he's won 6 best and fairest. Pretty good strike rate.
The strike rate is 50%.
Yeah. So you should then be able to explore your options, captain, no captain, whatever it may be. Why do you have to stay loyal to one club?
But he signed the contract.
I know that.
I agree with you, Brett.
But things have changed in that time as well when he signed that contract. Coaches have gone, whole board's been upheaved, and then they've got the president's gone as well.
He did resign last year, though. That was the only one that sort of fucked him a little bit, was he shouldn't have done the extra stuff last year. But in saying that, I completely agree. So
we should just do 1 year deals right across the board?
No.
Because otherwise...
Well, I think you've got to...
He extended though.
I get that. Yeah. But circumstances change. Year on year, they change.
Of course. No,
so
I'm in agreement with you.
So we should only do they do with players if you sign a... Why
doesn't the player just keep the contract and you move it where? But that's giving the control back to the club. So you get the best deal you can for your club. So Zach Merritt says, I want to trade. Righto. No worries. Get your trade. But you're going where we get the best deal.
No, I agree with that 100%. It should be what's best for the club.
So therefore, you've got more control by the player, the club. Now, I don't agree with this, mind you. I'm only throwing it out there. that means the club's in control of all of what's going on.
I like that.
The problem is they ask for loyalty and give not a heap back in return.
I just it frustrates me, being a bit older now, out of the game, and not that I ever had any currency in this space.
You did.
But
Remember you had that contract at 70 grand. You thought,
No,
I'll play on 70 this year.
yeah, with the
$2 million
the
buffer.
TPP and
with
make
the
sure
idea
that
of
if they go up,
grabbing the $2
then
million
COVID hit, and I was like, fuck no, didn't see that one coming. I would like to see the power come back to the clubs, and I hate this narrative around moving interstate. Like, we live in a pretty great country. Like, you can move from Melbourne to Sydney, or Melbourne to Adelaide, Melbourne to West Coast, the West Coast.
It's called Perth.
Is it? There you go. It's just like, this whole thing about not move, like, players should just get shit fucking everywhere.
So
No, if there's
got a
If it's the
question
best deal
for
for
ya.
the club.
So best deal for the club. Say Merritt's whole thing is like, they're not showing any signs, so he's leaving Essendon. But then if the club get a good deal and it's like West Coast, who are in a worse position than Essendon, you
Yes.
think stiff Merritt.
Yes, but
Then it's-
back to my point last week was, if he's had conversations with Hawthorn have to get that job done for him, because he's going out on a whim to be like, I want to leave, I want to go to Hawthorn. They have to then do the best thing for Merritt.
But that's why you got to
get
keep
the
it
job
quiet.
done.
You cannot have it coming out in the media because you got to have all the groundwork, all your ducks in a row prior
well,
to
it makes
that.
a good
How
game.
do you think he handled the speech?
Loved it, mate. I don't think he could
Brownlow
handle himself
into
any better.
The best and fairest.
I don't think he could handle himself any better. He's fronted up. He's continued to. I honestly, I didn't really know much about Zach Merritt, but anything from this situation, my respect for him has gone up 100%. Like, I reckon he's done an incredible job.
So you think that we should just be able to go tomorrow and say, right, Dill, actually pack your bags, you're off to Sydney, mate, and whatever, I don't care what you got on your lease here or your house repayments or whatever else, up to Sydney, where the cost of living is through the roof. We know that. We've both lived it. And you're just going to have to go and find a house and do all that. And the club should be able could say that tomorrow.
Well, am I in contract?
Yeah.
Yeah, and would I be getting more money up there?
I don't know.
Well, if
That's what I'm saying. I don't think there's enough money in the game for that to be
I
able
think
to
you have
happen
to.
like
I think
the
you have to
NBA
be
or the
over
MLB.
over a certain amount of money. Even if you're on 300 grand, it's like, well, all right, mate, go and start a first year accounting degree then. Fuck off if you don't want to do it. Piss off. Like,
Fair enough.
you know what I
What
mean?
about if you don't have your
You're on 300 grand, mate.
Yeah.
Relax. You're okay.
What about if you don't have your degree for
I said,
accounting?
start your first
Get
year
this-
accounting degree. He's going
Get
back to
this
uni.
man on the board, on the AFL board now.
You know what I mean? Like, some of these players, shut the fuck up.
You'd get eaten
Like,
alive
mate,
in there.
No, I wouldn't, because they're all just like,
was on 50 grand.
mate. Just like, it's
For
just
what
some,
it's worth, I completely disagree.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
but have some actual awareness of what's actually going on in society. Like, anyway. So I gardened on the weekend.
Were you passionate about
Sounds
that?
like you had a bit of
I was.
passion there.
Yeah.
I was
What's the
passionate
next one,
about
Linc,
that.
on your list?